What's up, students? Come on. You like any of the videos here, if you've seen highlights and stuff like that, make sure to, subscribe. Maybe like some of the videos. Come and join us on the stream, huh? We're live Monday from 7 to 9, Tuesday from 6 to 8. Maybe I might change, I don't know.
All right. Woo. All right, and now. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? I think you can. Oh. Can you guys hear me right now? That's good. That's good. What's going on, students? That's right, it's your boy, Professor Boy, here today. I got my sustenance going on. Had a little bit of an accident there, but we're good. We're back. Let me show you what I got. Yeah. Camera on that. That's the money shot right there. Ooh, yeah. All right. All right. Oh. What is going on, student? We're here to dive more into today's stuff, which is Bigfoot. Mm. All right. Hold up. Okay. And we're talking about now just fuck it. Here. God damn it. Come on. There we go. Cool. Woo wait. How y'all doing? Mighty fine. I want to turn it down just a little bit so I can hear everything. So, today's topic, this week's topic, technically, is we're going to be describing, or at least diving deeper into biggest Ophudas. It's going to be a good time. Now you're here. I'm on these tacos. That's what they're missing. Good shit. I absolutely love it so much. We eat real quick, and we're gonna, while we're eating, we're gonna dive into some of these videos that I found. Unfortunately, I was not able to watch the Hulu thing, but I'm gonna watch it later on tonight. Okay, that's gonna be really exciting. I really want to see what's going on. Now, where's that? Where's that playlist I had? We're gonna watch this Canadian guy try to search for the biggest Ophudas. What? Woo!
That's awesome. Seems like a treasure hunt.
They bite people's heads.
Never really?
What?
Now that's history.
I went to Harrison Hot Springs to track down a Sasquatch.
Woo! Hell yeah!
Your best bet is covering a lot of territory in wilderness areas. Cameras ready to go. Keep in arm, boys.
I headed out with Thomas Steenberg, a local Sasquatch investigator.
You fuckers ready for some wild?
What are the chances that we're gonna see one today?
Slim to none.
Spoiler alert, we didn't see a Sasquatch.
So tell us about the history of...
Just choked up. That's about it. Got high with this guy. That's about it.
the name.
The name Sasquatch came about on the Chehalis Reserve, which is just on the south end of the lake here on the other side of the river.
So I went to talk to Kelsey Charlie, who represents the Sta'alis. One of the most important symbols of their nation is the Sasquatch.
So why is he right in the middle?
It's a supernatural being that was like a spirit power to our community for millennia. The name Sasquatch is anglicized, derived from the word Saskats. In the 1920s and 30s, there was an Indian agent that lived here. After being here for several years, he became immersed with the people and they treated him quite well.
A man by the name of J.W. Burns. He listened to their stories and their oral history and their mythology.
He heard them talking a lot about this giant, hairy man of the woods and how people in our community revered him and honored him.
He wrote an article that was published in Maclean's magazine on April Fool's Day, 1929, and he misspelt the word. He called it Sasquatch, and it's been known as Sasquatch ever since.
You have to save for
Tyler!
the sound in the back.
Welcome. You ready to learn about Bigfoot? We're searching today. Doing a little bit more research. We're gonna find him. I know, I mean these taco.
Back of your throat. Ass cuts. Ass cuts. Ass cuts. Yeah, ass cuts. Yeah, you almost got it. Yeah, you almost got it. Ass cuts.
We open the ark.
How come some people find their footprints?
Yeah.
How come some people can smell them?
Swear to God. Talked about this yesterday. All these Bigfoot hunters have foot fetishes.
How come some people can hear them? Actually, how
I'm gonna
come
show
some
you my
people can see
stash.
them? My grandpa said, well, those are the people that have been given a blessing to actually experience him.
So I gathered a bunch of Sasquatch witnesses at the old settler pub.
Thank
I
you.
stopped to look back at my wife, and she was looking up this slope, and she looked so scared.
That was, get that moment in your life when you think, this is it. This is my time.
So I looked up and saw what she saw, and it was this figure coming down the hill, these huge arms with this, the hair off the arms was gray.
Well, I saw from behind the entire time. It stood up and turned away from me and walked up 150, 200 yards of hillside. That would have taken me 15 minutes, and it was up there in about 30 seconds.
I saw matted hair, and it was like copper brown, and it wasn't.
Yeah, well, I saw that he was 7 foot tall. No, you fucking didn't, Janet. All right, don't lie. All right, well, now the one I saw was 10 feet high, and I fought him with my bare hands. Oh, you got something there. Oh, no. Trust me. I mean, look at those. Huh? Like, people are playing Resident Evil thinking about the cute vampire lady and stuff like that. Like, nah. Like, step on me with those, huh? They're big.
Pretty, but I've never forgotten the smell. I've never forgotten the look in the eyes, because what I saw were more humane than any other animals. And then it was just gone.
Do you know anyone that has seen it?
Mm-hmm. I've seen them, yeah. I've seen them.
You have?
So this happened in 2002. There was 2 of them. The big one was squatted in the water, and then the little one was standing beside it. And then the big one gave the little one a drink of the water out of its hand. I've seen their footprints, I smelt them, I heard them, but I'd never seen nothing like that before.
If the Sasquatch exists, it will be a major scientific discovery. If it doesn't exist, well, I've done my part to record a great piece of Western Canadian folklore and mythology.
The way our elders put it to us was they said he's a Silalakam, he's a supernatural being.
You know what? Might have the endorphin, raw sexual drive of beasts like. And to be honest, like I'm correct. I have like amazing, like, wow, I'm amazing. So oh, I can get better. How about now? Is it a little bit better? Like am I closing it out, or are you actually like hearing me just fine? Did you notice a change? If I actually like talk like this, nah, you're not gonna be able to catch me talking off mic. I gotta get up on that mic. Excuse me.
He has the ability to shapeshift from physical form to spirit form. And he says that's why people will never ever catch him.
You say pussy at the end of that? Oh, I think he said we'll see. Damn.
Here, but yet curious. What the hell was that? Best way to describe Bigfoot's personality, they're very shy.
That voice does not match. Does not match that body.
What the hell was that? Best way to describe Bigfoot's personality, they're...
Sorry, that just... That shocked me. Second. Alright.
They're very shy. This is interesting to me right here, but yet curious. Let's see if anybody's home. If you're in their territory and they want you out of their territory, they're gonna chase you out. They might try to scare you a little bit. Did we get that on camera? Maybe throw a rock at you. It scared the crap out of me. Throw a stick at you. You think something was standing there the whole time watching us? Make some noises. Got goosebumps over it. We might have been.
Ah!
Right now,
Bigfoot.
we are in the Harvey's Creek
Unleashed.
State Forest, and I'm going to take you guys out on a Bigfoot investigation. All right, let's go look for Bigfoot. We are Pennsylvania Bigfoot Investigations. We formed our group in November of 2013. And
It might be something like that.
6 years, we've done over 80 investigations. We've been everywhere from here in Northeast PA to the northern tier of the state, basically anywhere that we could get some evidence. Pennsylvania ranks third in the United States as far as Bigfoot sightings. I believe it was 1,300 different types of encounters in Pennsylvania alone. I've always been into it since I was a kid. So once the show Finding Bigfoot came out, I'm like, oh my God, people actually go out and research this. And I became almost completely obsessed. This is a third generation reproduction print of the Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot, the famous Bigfoot from the 1960s. Just the mystery behind it, and does this creature really exist? And just the aspect of researching it. I'm just taking pictures to document it. I've had just about every experience, but actually seeing one in person, that's kind of my catching lightning in a bottle moment. Listening and seeing if we hear anything that's out of the ordinary. We found footprints, we found weird looking tree structures. These two castings right here are ones we took about 10 minutes from here. And I'm a
What the fuck is that? Hey, Tyler, thanks for visiting. Give yourself a good one. We're going to dive a little bit more deeper into the world of Bigfoot. But hey, give yourself a good one, bud.
size 11 and a half. We're going to be looking for footprints. Muddy areas like this, I always stop and kind of look around. Looks like deer tracks, which is a good sign. Well, if there's a healthy deer population, that's something a Bigfoot could feed off of. We're also going to be looking for weird tree structures, something that doesn't look natural. Bigfoots are known to take a bunch of down trees and kind of make these weird looking tree formations. This is interesting to me right here. Obviously, someone came through and used a chainsaw. If they were trying to clear this and cut it off the trail, right? Why would they all be piled and kind of shoved in? It could be a way of saying this is my territory, keep out. I'm not saying, you know, it's Bigfoot related or not Bigfoot related, but it's just something out in the woods that doesn't make sense to me. for our group,
That's wild.
Bigfoot investigation is almost like a casual hike in the woods. We take on the role of educated hiker and just kind of hike in the woods and look for evidence. Even if we don't find them, I get to see some of the coolest places in Pennsylvania and, you know, see a lot of beautiful scenery. At the end of the day, worst case scenario, you had a great hike in the woods and good conversation with friends. Let's see if anybody's home. Bigfoots will take two big rocks and kind of start banging them together, or take a big branch and start banging it against a tree, kind of like they're trying to knock a home run out of the park. No one's home. And it's kind of a way they communicate with each other. It's a Bigfoot version of a text message.
I hear it thumping from back in there.
I don't know. I'm gonna say yeah. It was so weird.
Mm-hmm. Y'all
This
gonna
is the time
die.
where your senses start to perk up and you're more on alert, and you know, you kind of get the goosebumps going more of what you're gonna find, and you hear more of the creaks and noises of the woods. Things are coming alive. This is a bewitching hour. Did it fall from the top and down, or did something push it over?
How do you think a tree falls, dude?
So like something pushed it over.
What?
It could have. They're known to do that. To push trees over, it's scary to get the hell out. Oh yeah, we got a tree pushed over. There's no wind or anything to even push it over.
What in
I
the
didn't hear
world is this
anything
guy's
moving
problem?
around. Unless you think something was standing there the whole time watching us? As far as investigations go, we had a more active night. If a 0 or 1 was going for a hike in the woods and not seeing anything, and a 10 was actually seeing something, I would rate this at a 5 or 6 right now.
If that guy was, I mean, if his experience was 5 out of 6, that's hilarious. If that guy was, I mean, if his experience was 5 out of 6, that's hilarious. Oh, hello. All right. All right. All right. How's everybody doing right now? How's everybody doing right now? How's everybody doing right now? Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2.
Things are coming alive. This is a be. Things are coming alive. This is a be. Moving around, unless you think something was standing there the whole time watching us. Moving around, unless you think something was standing there the whole time watching us. And a 10 was actually seeing something, I would rate this at a 5 or 6 right now. I would rate this at a 5 or 6 right now. I would rate this at a 5 or 6 right now.
All right. All right. Sorry about that, students. Had to figure out what the hell was going on with my stream. But no, I think we're good. I think we're good. So, that's just to give a nice quick review of just what the hell all these people are on about this damn here Bigfoot. Love you, Tyler. Mwah. 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 Great person right here. Great person right here. Go check out their stream. Lovely artwork, lovely person. I love them. I love you. Mama don't, mama do. Mama na, mama hey. Mama na, mama na. Yeah, get that sickly yellow go. Yeah. Woo. All right, children, let's go ahead and get ourselves into some gnarly shit. So, now again, to review what we've been going over, at least through Bigfoot themselves, it turns out there's been a lot of people. It started back when, at least on the American side, on not so much the footage, but actually started way back, I think over in the late 1800s, mid 1800s, on some miners, a guy playing pranks. But there's been convoluted evidence on the factors of where there could be certain tracks where the prankster was pressing, but then they found other tracks thousands of miles away, and finding out that, like, oh, it could be like other, if there's just like, you know, this like weird fucking cult of Bigfoot or foot fetishes and shit, and they're just trying to do their own thing and stuff. Oh yeah, that's gonna be wild shit. But who knows? Coffee. Crazy shit. Crazy shit. All right. But we learned last stream that there was actually a lot of different versions of different kinds of Bigfoots. At least like certain Homo sapiens that were big and furry, basically. And so we're going to dive a little bit on the research on those ends and figure out if there's specific videos pertaining to them. And lastly, we're going to be checking out the Bigfoot organization. See what maybe we could try to become members or something. We have to figure it out. I'm excited. Let's go. So, and if you are brand new to the show, and if you're just checking out, go ahead and please check out this lovely note thing that we have set up right here for you all. All right. Basically, if you're able to go into your chat right here, well, first you have to follow. Go ahead and click up on notes there, and it gives you access to this lovely here document. This here document is allowing you to actually participate in the note taking itself. Not really participating. I lied there. Sorry. Fibber. More or less actually just trying to become more exclusive, more part of the whole process there. Right. Nice. So. So the first one that we're going to be diving into is Yowie. This is basically Australian's Bigfoot. Yowie is one of several names of Australian folklore entity reputed to live in the outback. Restaurant? The creature has its roots and Aboriginal oral history in parts of Queensland. They are known as queenkin, or as a type of queenkin. What is queenkin? Refers to a large body of local, national, international pots. Pots. Broad shoulders, long arms. Can I move this? I would love to move this. But I want you guys to be able to, like, you know, read it with me. Look at that thing. Damn. I'm gonna get up in there. Fucking deep throat. Yeah. Hungry. I think you guys are able to see that. So, the Yowie is usually described as a hairy, ape-like creature standing upright, 2.1 meters, 6 feet 11, and 3.6 meters, 12 foot. The Yowie's feet are described as much larger than humans, but alleged Yowie tracks inconsistent in shape and toe number. And the descriptions of Yowie footprints and footprints provided by Yowie witnesses are even more varied than those of Bigfoot. The Yowie's nose is described as wide and flat. Behavioral, some report as Yowie is timid or shy. So he's a bottom. Others describe the Yowie as sometimes violent and aggressive. Okay, so they're versatile. Gotcha. Origins of the term. The origin of the name Yowie to describe unidentified Australian hominids is unclear. The term was used in 1875 among Camilleri Arroy. Sure. People and documented in Reverend William Riddle's or in other Camilleri and other Australian languages. Yowie is it spirit? Yowie. I'm gonna fuck it up. I'm gonna stop trying. Is a spirit that roams over the earth at night. Some modern writers suggested that it arose through Aboriginal legends of the Yahoo. Yeah, no. Yahoo. All right. Some modern writers suggested that it arose from Aboriginal legends of the Yahoo. Report Holden recounts several stories that support this from the 19th century, including this European account of 1842. The natives of Australia believe in Yahoo. This being they describe as resembling a man of nearly the same height, with long white hair hanging down from his head over the features. The arms as extraordinarily long, vanished at the extremities. The hell out of here. The arms as extraordinarily long, vanished at the extremities, their great talons, and the feet turned backwards, so that on flying from man, the imprints of the foot appears as if they being had traveled in opposite directions. What the fuck am I jumping from Irish? Jeez. Altogether, they describe as it's a hideous monster of any unearthly character and ape-like appearances. Nice. Nice. Oh, yeah. Fuck it up. Mama. Da, 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 da. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Ah, people talking. Ah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm just trying to do wicked woo. Sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to find, like, good shit. Like, what? All right now. Just hold on me, Bigfoot. We're talking about Bigfoot. Yeah. Bigfoot. We're not talking about Bigfoot anymore. We're talking about Yowie, an Australian man. A big man. That's what we're going. That's what we got. That's what we talk about. Oh, Yowie, yeah. Yowie, who the fuck are you, Yowie? He was found back in the 19th centuries. In the 1850s, accounts of indigenous apes appeared in the Australian town and Central Journal. The earliest accounts in November 1876 as readers. Who has not heard from the earliest settlement of the colony? The blacks speaking of some unearthly animal or inhuman creature. That motherfucker's racist, I think. Namely, the Yahoo devil. Or a hairy man of the wood. And an article entitled Australian Apes. Appearing 6 years later. Amateur naturalist Henry James McCoy claimed to have seen an indigenous ape in the south coast of South Wales between Batman Bay and Ulladulla. Woo! Damn! Okay, I'm gonna be a little bit straight with you guys. I don't think I trust Bigfoot sightings, especially in Australia, when we're talking to like pre-19th century, because let's be honest, probably some racist dudes just trying to kill black people. How about that? So yeah, let's just move it a little bit. Just move it a little bit. You know. Present day, according to the top end Yowie investigators, Andrew McGinn, the death and mutilation of a pet dog, Darwin, could have been the result of an attack by a mythological Yowie. Ooh, I'm coming home to the Australian Capital Territory. In 2010, a Canterbury man said he saw an animal described as a juvenile covered in hair with long arms that almost touched the ground in his garage. A friend later told him it could be Yowie. Now, going on in South Wales, New South Wales. Counts of Yowie sightings in the New South Wales include in 1997, that's 77, I fucked that one up. Damn. An article in the Sydney Morning Herald reported the resident of Oxley Island near the Terry recently heard screaming noises made by an animal at night. Cryptozoologist was mentioned in the article as soon to arrive in the area, the search of a mythological Yahweh. In 1909, Tim and the Yahweh man claimed to have seen the Yahweh in Brother Bell's Ranges. In 1996, while all on a driving holiday, a couple from Newcastle claimed to have seen a Yahweh between Braidwood and the coast. They said it was a shaggy creature, walking upright, standing at the height of at least 2.1 meters tall, with disproportionately long arms and no neck to be found. Yahweh. Well, hot damn. Now we got to figure out what the fuck a Yahweh is. Woo-wee. Yahweh. Right? Is that what it's called? Yahweh. The hunt for the Australian mythical ape. Half human, half Yahweh. 1976.
Worm your way where the fern fronds tall, passing lacework over your head, hemming you in with a high green wall. Then, when the thrush calls once, stop dead. Ask the old grey wallaby there, him prick-eared by a woolly butt tree, how to encounter a...
The fuck are you saying, bro? Hold up, we're gonna need... I'm gonna need some fucking captions right now. Better... Ah, shit. Alright, guys, we're just gonna have to guess what this motherfucker's saying.
Glug. Australia's own C.J. Dennis may well have offered similar advice to those taking part in the current Queanbeyan quest for a Yowie. Few people are fortunate to be able to claim an encounter with Australia's answer to a...
I like that. I like that camera work right there. Hold up. Just like
taking part in the current Queanbeyan quest for a Yowie. Few people are fortunate to be able to claim...
What was that? Oh, nothing.
A Yeti or a Bigfoot.
Well, I'm afraid it's rather unlikely. It's unlikely on geological grounds. A very large major sea gap between Australia and Southeast Asia, which is the nearest part of the rest of the world, which appears to have been...
You know this guy. You know this guy, like, immediately was just like, no, there's... No, we're... No, because there can't be a fucking Yahweh, because guess what? They're... The closest fucking thing to the ocean is the south thing. The closest fucking thing to the ocean is the south thing. Thank you. Repeating voice of mine. Bunch of doodah. Bunch of hoo-ha right here. Oh, wow, yo. All right. Okay, I'm getting a little wild here. Let me calm down. Calm down. I'm getting a little heated. I'll be honest, I'm actually having a great time. I hope you are also having a great time. Oh, my goodness. I'm liking this. We'll do some more sing-alongs, too. I hope you guys like that. That was fun.
There, well, we don't know for how part of the large major sea gap between Australia and Southeast Asia, which is the nearest part of the world, which appears to have been there, well, we don't know for how long, but of recent animals, it appears that only Homo sapiens has got across, bringing with him the things like the dingo, his presumably semi-domesticated dog.
Hate you, baby.
Dr. Colin Groves is lecturer in prehistory and anthropology at the Australian
You get the fucking mic out your mouth.
National University. Yowie hit the headlines again last month when the Queanbeyan Age published the claims of a Blue Mountains naturalist, Rex Gilroy, supported by photographs and illustration.
Get out right there, huh? Yeah, no, make sure you get my good angle, right? Yeah. Fucking. Get you some poon right there.
Said to prove its existence.
Yeah, I was in the paper. Yeah.
It was too good an opportunity for the Queanbeyan Festival Committee, headed by public servant Jim Belshaw, to pass up.
$100,000 is a lot of money. How safe do you think it is?
They began to rob the bank that very day.
I think it's very safe. That can mean safe in two ways. First, there is some chance we'll have to pay the reward, but I think that we'll have no problems in recouping any reward that we pay. A Yowie would be an international story of the first order.
Today around Canberra, radio talkback programs were inundated with alleged sightings. John Shand, an unemployed playwright, claims he's actually caught one.
Well, my friend Jack and I were going for our normal early Sunday morning walk beside Lake George, and we were walking along the edge of the lake on the far side, away from where the road is, and suddenly we noticed some ripples in the water, and slowly a head emerged. And at first we thought it was some sort of ape that had been taking a swim, but as more and more of it appeared, it showed that it wasn't neither an ape nor a man of any sort. It was sort of a...
It was a sort of a, well, to be frank, I think it was just a middle-aged man, and we were just high on, we were high on meth, right? And yeah, this hat here, yeah, it's not even, it's a fucking flower face. That's what it is. And, no, I'm high right now. Yeah. No, fucking caught the guy and kept him in my basement. Yep. And no, trust me, I put a bunch of dog food in there. He should be good. Left him about 3 months ago. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, caught him up right now. Yeah.
A cross between the two. It had the marks of intelligence that a man bears, but the fur, long shaggy fur, more like an ape. But it stood at least 14 foot tall by the time it emerged from the water.
14 feet?
Yes.
Well, how did you actually go about capturing it then?
Look at those dark circles. You know that guy, he is definitely a theater major. See that sunken in cheek? Damn, he's good looking too. Like that crust on the chin right there. Long hair. Good looking dude. Yeah.
Well, when it caught sight of us, it reacted rather strongly and cried, "Yahoo!" and charged towards us. And as it got nearer and was about to make the kill, it started crying, "Yowie! Yowie! Yowie!" in a voice similar to that, though not quite the same. Whereupon my friend, who was the more adventurous of the two, tried to make communication with it. It appeared not to respond. In fact, it just responded by grabbing him and between what was just his thumb and his forefinger, holding him high in the air, and then bringing it to his mouth and biting off his arm.
It ripped his arm off?
Right off, yes. Now, this was quite a shock to my friend, of course, but it...
Oh, that's... Yeah, no, fucking bit his arm off right there. And he was like, oh, shit. Well, that's a bit of an inconvenience right there. I mean, now I'm going to have to be a lefty. Yeah, but no, he was a champ about it. Popped him over in the hospital, and there you go. Governor. I'm fucking up my accents here.
It appeared that it was more of a shock to the Yowie, who fainted when it...
Oh, hell no. Yeah, he faints. It faints. It turns out it fucking hates blood. Fucking.
Saw the blood, I think. And my friend now was becoming much more excited about this fainted Yowie than about his missing arm. And he suggested we should try and bind it up. Now, luckily, we had some rope, and we did this.
How did you fit a 14-foot Yowie in a cage this size?
Well, that was a problem, yes. What we had to do is one of us had a saw by sheer luck, and we cut it off above the waist and just brought the top half back and put it in there. We noticed that immediately we cut off the top half, the wound healed of its own accord. And by the time we got it back here, new legs were already forming.
How should they approach a Yowie?
Well, with any new creature, I approach it with some caution.
This is awful. How the fuck are we gonna kill this thing? I mean, do other people know of this? Is it just like is it just like the Yowie strand? Damn it. There's just so much we don't know. We have to dive deeper.
Though I personally haven't heard of any stories of people being hurt by Yowies.
You should go find that guy.
I can verify.
I would say to anybody thinking of going out to look for the Yowie that there might be dangers involved. I would quote...
particularly the Yowie. Motherfuckers ripping off arms and shit and just healing. Like, what happened to... Oh... What the fuck happened to the bottom half? Does it just grow a new, like, body? Like a starfish? Fuck. Fuck. We got so much. We got so much we need to know.
A story of the Bigfoot in North America, of a girl who stated that she was kidnapped by a Bigfoot and held captive for some 2 to 3 weeks, and the animal made repeated attempts to ravish her, and finally she got away under very stirring circumstances. And therefore I would say think twice before you go out, not only girls, but there's also the possibility, we know that homosexuality exists in the animal kingdom, and there's also the possibility perhaps of a gay Yowie, so watch it.
Oh boy, hey. During that year, we saw a big drop in the amount of hunters wanting to go. What did they just like got actually like a resurgence of just like, what are you talking about? No, I just wanna see the Yowie. Yowie. Yowie baby, come here. Yes, I am impersonating a Swedish gay man. No, come here, baby. Yowie. Yowie. How about that? Yow baby, come here. You can kidnap me, baby. Hey, at least my guy's forward thinking. He knows, you know, gay people be fucking in the wilderness too. So. Hey, yo.
When you go and have a look.
The specimen shelves at the ANU, right at the scene of the action, tell a sorry tale. Although there are an impressive array of hominids' heads from Pekin Man to Heidelberg and Chukutian, not to mention Wajak and East Rudolph, there's still an empty space awaiting Australia's own link with the apes. Colin Grove says he'd be thrilled if that shelf could be filled.
Well, I suppose you can't exclude its existence. As a scientist, I must not do this. As Charles Kingsley said, in order to prove that no water babies exist, you must see no water babies existing. But up until now, I must admit that the nearest thing to a Yowie I've seen is my friend Chaucer.
What are water babies? What are water babies? Clarify on that. As to oppose earth babies, fire babies, air babies, and it all changed when the fire babies attacked? No.
There's Chaucer. I'll show you. Chaucer! Chaucer! Come on!
Ah! It's a Yowie! Shit! Oh God. Yeah, you know, I have this one captured. Yeah, they exist. It's attacking him.
That's Joseph.
Damn. Hot damn. I did not know that one was going to be that fun. That's hilarious. All righty. Ah! I don't know what that was. Ooh.
I never had a good education.
You and me too, brother. You and me too.
I've never made it to university. I've had to teach myself. You've got to be here somewhere. I was showing you.
He's right here. There's my shit. Yeah. Yeah. That pebble of shit right there. Yeah. That's the shit that I took when I first saw the Yowie. Yeah. Yeah. Feel fresh. All right.
UFO stuff. Footprints. There's only one word for me, I suppose. I'm a genius. What's it? Aha. Anyway, let's do this interview.
This guy fucks.
I'm Rex Gilroy, the Yowie Man. I'm almost 70 years old, and I've been researching the Yowie for the last, how long have I been doing it?
Jimmy, I'm a genius. Hold up. Fuck, I gotta talk to me voices in my head. Ah, fuck. Oh. Oh, jeez, my dude.
I've been doing this research into the Yowie for some 56 years now. In China, of course, they call them the Yeren there, the Almasties in Russia. In North America, the Bigfoot, and in New Zealand they have the Moihau. But they all mean basically the same thing: wild man, or wild hairy people, or hairy people, or hairy men, hairy women. Scientists said it was just a mythical creature like the bunyip. Of course,
Damn.
We've gone out looking for these so-called myths, and we found the evidence. I went out here into the Blue Mountains scrubland, and I started to find things. My collection is priceless. I must be the only researcher in Australia who's got fossil human skulls. The only.
Oh. No, not my bed. That's me furry pulling there.
Fossil human skulls under the dining room table. I have fossils from every geological period of the Earth's history, and I now have the largest privately owned natural science collection in Australia. Yes.
Over the years, we have amassed a huge collection, so much so that we're virtually living in a pocket of our home, and the rest of it's the collection, whether it be books or whether it's rocks and other artefacts and things like that.
I'm so cramped for space lately. I'm at the stage where I've got to find room for them.
With
Oh,
the
shit.
Series, I've always supported him, and in actual fact, I'm
That took a long pause right there. I've always supported him. Right. Okay.
I'm probably his
Fuck, I love her sweater. Oh, I love her sweater. I want your sweater.
biggest skeptic, because I'm asked questions. How do you know that? And why do you think that's an artefact and that sort of thing? And he then explains it to me.
Yes, Heather is very important to my research and my life generally. We're soul brothers, you can say. We're a team. Some people call us Mr. and Mrs. Yowie or Mr. and Mrs. Indiana Jones. I do have an Indiana Jones hat, and I wear that whenever I'm in the bush. Might as well dress the part.
Oh my god, damn it. Now I know why. I love him. I love him so much. Oh, I want to be him. This guy has his own costume. He has his own like thing. He's enjoying himself. Oh. I love
it. History, historical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'd probably never even heard of a Yowie before I met Rex. It hasn't been easy.
No.
We didn't know what the problem was at the time, but now that we know that it's Asperger's.
That's stupid. Put up. I had it in hands.
No.
And I'm the one with feet on the ground. I'm the one, the practical person. I'm the one that does the cooking, the cleaning, the everything else.
Oh, what have I done?
Oh, damn it. Fuck. Yeah, but they're going to make me fall in love with these people. Damn it. Okay, we got it. All right, fuck the Yowie, fuck Bigfoot, fuck Yaren, fuck all those big hairy men and women out there. Coming for you. For this man. Coming for you.
Thanks. Throughout the world, there's vast areas of land that man can't get into. In such regions, any animal unknown to science could quite easily survive without us knowing. The scientists had said to me once, it's impossible. That's a word found in the dictionary of fools as far as I'm concerned. But I need physical proof. I need tissue.
Get fucked. I love that. I like that. I love him. I love him.
I need a freshly dead corpse or hair samples or a skeleton, a skull, something physical that a biologist can work with. And that's what I'm searching for. Something been here. Could be a Yowie.
Dude, you're on a trail. Like, come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah. So far, there is not one authentic still photo of a Yowie. For some reason, they don't trust man, and I don't blame them. The results of a lifetime's dedication. Everything I've discovered has come the hard way. I haven't had any funding from anyone. And here I am almost 70 and I don't know what I'm going to do with the collection. It's the one problem I've got. They've got to go back in the garage. I know it's worth a couple of $1 million, but my lifetime's notes, preserved in hundreds of exercise books, would be worthless in their eyes because I'm not a trained scientist. Being an amateur, I haven't got the ability, it seems, to observe and record things properly like a scientist. I beg to differ there, but the bulk of my collection, because I'm an amateur, would be destroyed. I've been told that, and that's part of my life, and without it, I'd have nothing to live for.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, we have to.
That rare phenomenon in world history, a genius. A genius.
Yes.
Still broke. We have this hidden history, as I say, that will become accepted in years to come. And I'll be known as the pioneer of that, I guess.
Yeah.
Rex Gilroy is being laughed at the moment. But 100 years from now, people will think more kindly of me, I hope.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. What was that? That was a fucking...
I never had a good education. I've had to
What was this man's name? What's his name? He sees.
Aha. Anyway, let's do this interview. Hello, I'm Rex Gilroy, the
Rex Gilroy. Don't forget his name. Oh, I won't forget you, Rick. I love you, Rick. These motherfuckers don't know shit. All right, students. All right. Excuse me. All right. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Oh. The Yeti. The Yeti, also known as the Metis in the Himalayan folklore, is an ape-like creature prohibited. I'm doing good, Bert. Doing good. We're learning about here, the Yeti. Hopefully I'm not too loud for you. I've been trying to figure out this damn volume situation here. All right, I like that. I like that a lot. Boot, do, boot, boot, boot. Now, as much as I like the songs of the heartland, we got to be able to switch it on over. We got to get more into the hunting mood. All right there, students. We just found out a lot about the Yowie of Australia. Now, we gotta learn about the Yeti, the snowy version of the biggest of footis. In Western popular culture, the creature is commonly referred to as the Abominable Snowman. Supposed to the evidence of Yeti's existence include anecdotal visual sightings, video recordings, photographs, casts of large footprints, etc. Some of these are speculated or known to be hoax. Folklorists trace the origin of the Yeti to a combination of factors including Sherpa folklore and misidentified fauna such as bear or yak. Mainstream science has largely discounted the Yeti's existence for these reasons. It's all true. They want to keep that away from us. Let's see. According to H. Siger, the Yeti was a part of pre-Buddhist belief of several Himalayan people. He was told that the Lapcha people worshipped a glacier being as a god of the hunt. He also reported to the followers of the Bon religion once believed the blood of the mere god or wild man had use in certain spiritual ceremonies. The being was depicted as an ape-like creature who carries a large stone as a weapon and makes a whistling whoosh sound. I think that's just the sound of what a rock makes. I could be wrong. In 1832, James Prinsep, Journal of the Asiatic Society of Bengal, published Trekker B.H. Hodgson account of his experience in the northern Nepal. His local guide spotted a tall bipedal creature covered with long dark hair, which seemed to flee in fear. Hodgson concluded it was an orangutan. An early record reported footprints appeared in 1999. Lawrence Waddell's Among the Himalayas. Waddell reported his guide's description of a large ape-like creature that left the prints, which Waddell thought were made by a bear. Waddell heard stories of a bipedal ape-like creature, but wrote that none, however, of the many Tibetans have interrogated on this subject could ever give him an authentic case. On the most superficial investigation, it always resolved into something that somebody heard tell of. Yeah, because there ain't a snitch. That's why. Now, Snuggie, welcome. We just got done learning a little bit about the Yowie in Australia. Now we're learning a little bit about the Yeti, and we're going to watch a video on that next. The frequency of reports increased during the early 20th century when Westerners began making determined attempts to scale the many mountains in the area, and occasionally reported seeing odd creatures of strange tracks. In 1925, N.A. Tumbazi, photographer, a member of the Royal Geographical Society, writes that he saw a creature about 15,000 feet high. Near Zumi Glacier. Tumbazi later wrote that he observed the creature from about 200 to 300 yards, 180 to 70 meters Eastern time. For about a minute, unquestionably the figure in outline was exactly like a human being, walking upright and stopping occasionally to pull out some dwarf rhododendron bushes. Okay. Just called a bush. Shit. It showed up dark against the snow as far as I could make out. Wore no colors. About 2 hours later, Tumbazi and his companions descended down the mountain and saw creatures, prints described as similar to the shape of those of a man, but only 6 to 7 inches long and about 4 inches wide. The prints were undoubtedly those of a biped. Damn! Western interest in the Yeti peaked dramatically in the 1950s. While attempting to scale Mount Everest in 1951, Eric Shipton took photographs of a number of large prints in the snow about 6,000 meters above sea level. These photos have been subject to intense scrutiny and debate. Some argue they are the best evidence of Yeti's existence, while others contend the prints are those of a mundane creature that have been distorted by the melting snow. I call that bullshit. That's a man in them hills, them mountains. I tell you what. Let's see a little bit more modern cases. Yeah, what's the latest? Damn. 2011. At the 2011 conference in Russia. Snuggie, you own a Yeti? Describe it. Tell me, what the hell? Describe it to me while I look this up. At the 2011 conference in Russia, participating scientists and enthusiasts declared having 95% evidence of Yeti's existence. However, the very nice cooler. Damn it! Cooler, what the hell you mean? Yeti cooler. Damn it, no! No, we're looking for monsters here, not cooling devices. Damn it, Snuggie. How dare you? I want to repeat this. At the 2011 conference in Russia, participating scientists and enthusiasts declared having 95% evidence of the Yeti's existence. However, this claim was disputed later. American anthropologist and anatomist Jeffrey Meldrum, who was present during the Russian expedition, claimed the evidence found was simply an attempt by local officials to drum up publicity. A Yeti was reportedly captured in Russia in December 2011. Initially, the story claimed that the hunter reported having seen a bear-like creature trying to kill one of his sheep. But after he fired his gun, the creature ran into the forest on two legs. The story then claims the Border Patrol soldiers captured the hairy two-legged female creature similar to a gorilla. That ate meat and vegetation. This was later revealed as a hoax or probably a publicity stunt by charity. Damn it. Well, in April 2019, an Indian Army mountaineer expedition team claimed to have spotted mysterious Yeti footprints measured 81 by 38 centimeters American, 32 by 15 inches. Thank you. In the Makulu base camp. All right, well. No, that's good, right? Like, I should be able to watch this if it has Hold up. YouTube. What the hell does that mean? For a YouTube vid to have the CC to has? Oh, it just has closed caption. Damn it, I thought it was copy. Damn it. I'm an idiot. Hold up.
Atop Earth's highest mountain above sea level hardly seems like an easy place to live. Mount Everest's tall peaks, freezing temperatures, fierce winds, and ever-present snow make it hard to support life. And while it's true that very few plants or animals can survive there, the most famous resident certainly seems at home, the Yeti.
Woo!
The huge, hairy monster has been spotted walking across Asian mountains from China to the Himalayas. Some say it looks like an ape, others a bear, and others even insist it's an unidentified humanoid species. The first reports of a wild man in the Himalayas appeared in the Western world during the 19th century, but didn't really get much attention. But in the 20th century, a few expeditions, some reported tracks, and one very famous photograph began a crazed hunt for the Yeti. I'm Dr. Emily Zarka, and this is Monstrum.
Woo! I like this.
Yeti is a mispronunciation of the word Yeti from Tibetan Sherpa dialect.
Yeti!
Dwelling bear or animal of rocky places. Regardless, when you hear Yeti, you probably picture the huge creature with fluffy white fur that pops up in movies all the time. The one commonly called the Abominable Snowman.
Abominable! Can you believe that?
I don't know if I was allowed to do that.
Yeti date back to the 12th century.
Whoa.
Also called a wild man, many accounts describe the creature as an ape-like being, over 6 feet tall, walking on its back legs with reddish-brown fur covering its muscular body. Explanations range from a real animal displaced in search of food to a purely fictional folklore creature. Tibetan tradition recognizes a variety of Yeti. One said to walk on 2 legs, and another larger Yeti that preys on livestock and walks on 4 legs.
You're not gonna eat it?
Yeti are believed to live in the alpine forest below the snow line, although they will brave higher altitude for food and shelter. They don't eat or hunt humans, although they may steal food from them, preferring the mosses, frogs, and pikas that live on the mountain. In many stories, the Yeti is nocturnal and emits a high-pitched screech or whistle. In Tibetan tradition, it is more common to hear a Yeti.
Yo, fuck that. You just see like that silhouette and you just hear the, just like, you hear this. Like, hell no.
Than to see one. The 2-legged mete appears in Buddhist temple decorations and religious painted scrolls. According to a religious and historical Tibetan text from the 12th century, these wild people and humans come from shared ancestors, although the mete is neither fully human nor fully animal. This is why much of the art in Tibetan temples shows the Yeti realm of rebirth between humans and animals. And Tibetan Buddhist stories feature Yetis as both kind and malevolent characters.
I like this art piece. It just looks like they bumped into each other. Like, ah! So, oh, sorry. I'm heading that way.
One popular tale from the Himalayas tells of an injured yogi helping a wild man with an infected foot from a splinter. The yogi kindly removes the splinter and cleans the wound. The grateful Yeti thanks the yogi for from a tiger, which the man skins and offers to a monastery.
Oh, what? Oh no, that's awful. I got you this cat. Oh, thank you. Let me just. Like, oh, I was giving it to you for a pet, just like. Oh, it'll be good for a pelt.
Legends are often born when we blur the lines between fiction and real-life events. In the 17th century, a Buddhist religious leader walked from India to Nepal to reside in a cave as a religious hermit. While living there, he claimed friendly Yetis would bring him food and water, allowing him a life of quiet meditation. When one of the Yetis died, he kept the scalp as a holy relic in the temple he built in 1667. This real-life relic became a part of blessing rituals for the temple monks. Later, a Yeti hand was added to the collection, another tribute to the creatures that made the temple possible. The temple monks refused to allow anyone to remove the relics for hundreds of years. But in 1959, explorer Peter Byrne stole a few finger bones from the hand, substituting them with human ones.
The fucking jackass. Fuck that guy. Oh my god. I'll leave it to this jackass in a sweater vest. No. So no, please, don't worry. I won't. I'm here to have peace with you, bro. Let me just namaste. Yeah. Oh, what a dick.
Stole a few finger bones from the hand.
Fuck you, Peter.
So Yeti legends and stories were culturally important.
Damn, look at the tits on that.
The world was even aware of their existence. In reality, the Yeti entered into Western thought as a footnote.
I mean, she looks like she's having a good time. Look at that face. No, I think she's just getting like one of those like intense massages, you know what I mean? Like not like, yeah, girl, no. We're gonna treat you very, very nice. Okay, let me just fucking yank your hair real quick. All right, yeah, no, we gotta. It's like, yeah, no, they're chiropractors. That's what it is. Yeah, maybe that's what they're trying to find. Damn, look at that.
Literally a footnote in a book. In 1832, British naturalist Brian H. Hodgson, writing about mammals in Nepal, noted that no monkeys could be found in the northern and central regions.
I dare say there will be no monkeys around here. We will not be having some monkey business.
But a footnote mentioned that during one expedition, frightened local shooters fled what they believed to be a wild man. He was told the creature moved upright, was covered with long dark hair, and had no tail.
The guy's going for a jog.
But the tail of the curious humanoid gave Hodgson pause. In 1889, the first mention of Yeti footprints appeared in Among the Himalayas by British explorer Lawrence A. Waddell. He writes that according to Tibetans, the large tracks were made by what they identified as hairy wild men who are believed to live amongst the eternal snows. At the turn of the 20th century, the first exploration and hunting parties descended on the Himalayas in search of the mysterious hairy wild man. But it wasn't until Lieutenant Colonel Charles Howard Bury's 1921 Mount Everest exploration that the press started to pay attention. Howard Bury and 5 others saw tracks in the snow that they could not identify. Local laborers accompanying them identified the tracks as belonging to the wild man of the snows. Howard Bury believed the prints in the snow were from a gray wolf, but when he and his team were interviewed by journalist Henry Newman, the reporter found no excitement in that explanation and instead focused on the Tibetan boogeyman with his backward-facing feet and long matted hair. He mistranslated Metokongmi, which roughly means man-bear-snowman, as filthy snowman, which he decided sounded better as abominable snowman. Something about the name captured the public's imagination and interest in the creature snowballed. But expeditions to search for the Yeti became difficult.
Damn.
Because of political and religious tensions after China invaded Tibet, leading to thousands of deaths. Until in 1951, an agreement was made affirming China's sovereignty over Tibet, but allowing their political system to remain unchanged and religious freedom to stay protected, including the belief in the Metek. With a more stable political...
That'd be great. Just like the Yeti just actually caused China to have a peace treaty. Like, come on, China, let's just, come on. It's like, no, we're going to invade you guys. Like, we don't, like, this is going to be our country. Like, no, please. Like, can we just go in the backyard? All right. Can we just like look for the Yeti, please? Like, that'd be awesome. If we like found it, like, it would be really cool. Just, we really want to invade you guys. We really do. I know. Just let us find the Yeti first. How about that? Huh? You let us find the Yeti, you can have all of it. All right, fine. Yes.
Climate, explorers once again poured in to hunt for the monster. Most notable was the 1951 Mount Everest reconnaissance expedition led by Eric Shipton, which produced the single most famous piece of Yeti evidence, a photograph of a footprint. Dubbed the Shipton print, the widely published photo shows a...
Man, look at that toe. That thing's like a jawbreaker. You know there's somebody with a foot fetish watching this and be like, oh! That foot.
A huge human-like footprint in
Oh, look at the toes. Look how big the toes are.
the snow, reportedly discovered on Mount Everest at 18,000 feet. It was printed everywhere. Newspapers, science journals, and popular magazines around the world plastered it across their pages.
And some big tootsies right there.
A year after Shipton's famous photograph, a Swiss exploration team found possible Yeti tracks at 16,000 feet. A porter even claimed to be attacked by a Yeti, but the rest of the team didn't corroborate his story. The monster search craze reached such a level that the Nepalese government, seeing an opportunity to exploit the Yeti, began offering special Yeti hunting licenses. In 1954, the popular British newspaper The Daily Mail funded a Himalayan Yeti finding expedition. Texas oil man and monster hunter Tom Slick also sent his catalog. His bio included hunts for Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster. In the 1950s, he dedicated 3 expeditions to the Yeti, and Life magazine offered him $25,000 for the rights to any photos he took of the creature. After 1959, tensions in the area came to a head again, and a Tibetan uprising led to a Chinese crackdown on Yeti expeditions for fear of espionage.
Hey, you guys gotta look out for these Yeti people. All right, like, sir, are you serious? Like, just a bunch of dudes up in a mountain looking for another dude. Like, I think we're good. They just like, what are they gonna do? Stab us with their picks? Just like, no, these are spies. I'm telling you, we're gonna find the Yeti first.
For a decade, it was difficult to travel into the country to look for the Yeti, but 2 expeditions managed to wiggle through the cracks. Between 1960 and 1961, Edmund Hillary and Marlon Perkins led expeditions with a team of scientists who examined the infamous Yeti relic hand and ID'd it as coming from a modern human, although at the time they didn't know Byrne had swapped out the finger bones. Shockingly, the monks at the temple also allowed them to take the famous Yeti's scalp, but only if one of their elders could accompany it, using the opportunity to raise money to build schools in Nepal. In 1960, separate examinations of the scalp in London, Chicago, and Paris found that it was a fake relic made from serow flesh. The discovery appeared to dampen the spirits of Yeti hunters, and expeditions began to wane. None of the expeditions were able to bring back conclusive evidence of a Yeti.
Damn it.
Enter Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the 1964 Christmas television special whose fluffy, white, arguably adorable Yeti reignited the popularity.
Fuck no. That thing is terrifying. Hell no. That thing terrified the fuck out of me as a kid. Adorable. Hell no. The stop motion, those teeth. That shit gave me nightmares watching that. One of the worst Christmas specials ever. Fucking hated that shit. Hell no. Ew.
Westerners identify as a Yeti, the one most often seen in pop culture today. In the 70s, the Chinese government sent more than 100 people to investigate the Yeti. After they found nothing, they even allowed Western expeditions into Tibet again, but those didn't reveal anything either. In the same decade, the famous Shipton photograph became widely viewed as a fake. One team member of the 1951 expedition even told a journalist that it was very possible the photo was a hoax, given that Shipton definitely liked to take the mickey out of people and would think that was quite a good joke. But some of the expeditions over the years did return with more than photos. Newly discovered fragments of bones, skin, teeth, and fecal matter were all brought back and investigated, but nothing conclusive developed. It seems that every time some new scientific insight attempts to answer, is the Yeti real, the world pays attention. Take the Bhutan discovery, for example. In 2001, a British zoologist collected a few strands of hair from a hollow cedar tree in Bhutan. Under DNA analysis, the hair could not be identified as coming from any animal known to science. Was this conclusive proof that some yet unidentified creature lived in the Himalayas? Not exactly. In 2014, Yeti made the news again when a study showed that the hair actually came from an extinct Paleolithic polar bear. In 2017, a team of scientists analyzed another 24 supposed Yeti specimens taken from the Himalayas and Tibetan Plateau, including bone, tooth, skin, hair, and fecal samples. All but one of the samples, which came from a dog, were from bears, including Himalayan bears who occupy the northwestern plateau. Himalayan bears have paler reddish-brown fur, which seems awfully like the hair in the descriptions of the original Tibetan Yetis. Interestingly, the scientists discovered that the Himalayan brown bear came from a unique evolutionary lineage that diverged from all other brown bears around 650,000 years ago. So in their report, the scientists say that the study's findings strongly suggest that Yetis are based on local brown and black bears. I happen to agree. Bears also play a really important role in Tibetan mythology and lore. There's belief in a half-human and half-brown bear creature called the Midrid. In Upper Tibet, among the Chinese people, apes, marmots, brown bears, and Midrid are the four brothers who are like humans but are not human. They were believed to have the same ancestry because they are all capable of standing on their back legs. Folklore tells of brown bears abducting women and
Why is that such like an awkward photo?
brown bears leaving human footprints. Tibetan folklore, religion, scientific discoveries, there's actually a lot going on with this monster. It's kind of amazing. Both the snarling, bloodthirsty Yeti we see in some depictions
Oh shit.
and the kinder, helpful versions we see in others have some basis in Himalayan folklore, but ultimately they only touch the surface. The more dangerous representations promote a healthy sense of wariness around bears, or serve as warnings of the very real dangers of the snow and high altitude. And the kinder, helpful versions of the Yeti speak to the Buddhist belief that all living things have a purpose and a place in the world. Around 65,000 years ago. 6,500,000 years ago, right? 650. Holy moly.
Nice. maybe like the bear was just like standing up and just like, what the fuck is going on over there? And then like another dude was just like, just freaking out. I mean, honestly, no matter what. Well, yeah, what was it? They didn't really want to give up the whole factor that's just like, dude, you just totally ran away from a bear. Like, shit. It's just a bunch of guys just trying to save themselves from the embarrassment. Just like, dude, you ran away from a bear cub. It's like, no. All right. Oh wow, there's really not much on this one. Jeez. Almas. Vojta redirects her as a village. In Mongolian folklore, in Almas, Alma, or Almasti, among other variants, Mongolian, Chechen, Turkish, or Albasti, okay, is a creature or deity said to inhabit a Caucasus and Pamir mountains of Central Asia in the Altai mountains of Western Mongolia. The term Almas and numerous variations thereof appear in Mongolian, Turkic language and Iranian language. Written in 1964, scholar P.R. Rinsian says that the origin of the old name is quite unknown, and it does not lead itself for translation in other languages. The name is connected to a variety of place names in southwestern Mongolia, including Almacian Dobo, the hills of Almaces, Almacian Ulan Ula, the Red Mountains of Almaces, and the Red Rocks of Almaces. Okay. Folk belief in the Almaces in Oberkange. The page doesn't exist. And the Bayan Kogru has resulted. Bayank Hongor has resulted in the name avoidance taboo there, wherein the entities may be referred to as Akai, meaning uncle brother. Aka. The folk tradition of Darkhead include Darkhead, suburban, mainly. Okay. Prescribes the Almas as related to him under the name Kong Gursu, man beast, as follows. We were told that it had a flat face like that of a human being, and that if often walked on two legs, that its body was covered with thick black fur and its feet armed with enormous claws, that its strength was terrible, and that not only were hunters afraid of attacking it, but that inhabitants removed their habitations from those parts of the country which it visited. And he suggests that all Almas should be identified as Arimaspai, were the legendary tribe of the one-eyed people of northern Scythia who lived in the foothills. A group of legendary humanoid creatures said to inhabit the Riphean Mountains. Well, shit, I wonder what pops up.
Good evening. I wanted to talk to you about the Almas, or the Almasty, Russia's Bigfoot. It seems pretty fascinating to me that you go all over the world, virtually every continent and every corner, and they have their version of a Bigfoot, some kind of an upright walking hominid species, especially when you go to places like Russia that are just so huge and so covered with forest. And the geography of Russia is really quite fascinating because you have everything from the Eastern Europe type influences, you know, kind of closer to Moscow, and all the history there, St. Petersburg. And then you've got everything going into almost like a Middle Eastern type area, crossing over into like Asia. It covers such a huge thing, and it's really not even that far from Japan at its very farthest tips, and only, you know, not that far from America either, from Alaska. It's such a huge country, such a varied landscape. And we're talking, you know, dwarfs the United States or even Canada for just millions and millions of acres of just woods. Being at a pretty high latitude, they get a lot of snow, pretty famous for their winters. Even the more southern areas are known to have pretty harsh winters. And then when you get into northern Siberia, it's just cold. You're pretty much almost in the Arctic.
All right. Come on. Let's get right into it.
And even Siberian tigers in a few areas. But the part that really fascinates me is if you look up Almas or Almasty or Yeti in Russia, they have quite a bit of photo evidence over there. There's quite a lot of, with this day and age of cell phones and camcorders and everything else, of people catching these things. And I 100% believe them that people are actually seeing these things. Now, as far as all the photo evidence, I don't know enough about it. Here's one from the famous Dyatlov Pass, those missing people. I did a whole video on it a while back. And they put in letters in their notes that they saw a Yeti, and some people say that this is a photograph of a Yeti. To me, it's inconclusive because I can't really tell from the proportions, but to me, it just looks like a guy in the snow wearing really thick clothing and maybe like a balaclava or, ski mask type of thing. It doesn't really strike me as...
Okay, that's a part of its power, though. That's how it does. Was it? We were told that even in Bigfoot himself is able to shift. It's shifty of its shape. Who knows? This might be extraterrestrial, ladies and gentlemen.
A Bigfoot in this picture, but a lot of people think it is, and if you think it is, that's fine. It just doesn't really strike me as that. But yeah, there's quite a few pictures floating around on the internet from over there, kind of like we have over here. Russians with these kind of things, they tend to just be a lot more open, a lot more forthright. They tend to just be very direct kind of people, and kind of like what you have in certain parts of the United States where they're just like, yeah, they're here. They stay over there, or they come steal my chickens. Or, we don't bother them, they don't bother us.
Yeah.
There's kind of a lot of that attitude over there. And it's really quite fascinating when you look at some of these reports and the way they're describing it. And the first thing that kind of struck me is you do once in a while, but you don't hear stories of them being 10, 12, 14
What
feet
the
tall
fuck?
like you do over here. You hear a lot more stories. I mean, I'm sure there are some, but all the stories and descriptions I've heard, they're more like 6.5, 7 feet tall. And when you really start looking at the mystery of the Almas, you start to realize they're talking about a couple different things. And we're going to get into that here. So the first thing that people report is...
No. We know the Yeti type.
So that's kinda the same thing
Oh,
over
shit.
there. You're just kinda separated.
Hello, miss. I saw that you were all alone. Oh, Mr. Yeti. Please. I don't know. My husband's not home. Oh, he isn't home. I mean, you look so lonely. I could help out with that. Oh, Yeti. Call me Bigfoot. Oh. I mean, okay. This is just gonna be review stuff. I thought I was gonna dive more into it. Ah. Exactly. Maybe. Not much Asian cryptid animals. No, I think we got it. I think we got about it all. All right. Last but not least, let's check out the biggest group of all time. No, not that one. The BFRO. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Bigfoot Field Research Organization. Excuse me. Founded in 1995, the only scientific research organization exploring the Bigfoot/Sasquatch mystery. Comprehensive sighting database. Canada. Oh, cool. Damn. Oh, nothing in Mexico. There's no... Okay. I guess, whatever. And just Alaska. That's wild. Is there? Bigfoot sightings in Mexico. Bigfoot possibly sighting in New Mexico. Oh, hey. Look at that. The Sisimito. A Bigfoot-like creature in Central and South American folklore. There we go. Hey, we gotta make sure we got all of them. All right. In Belizean and Honduran folklore, maybe the Sisimito, alternatively called Sisimite, Sisimita, Sukara, or Itakayo, is a bipedal upright gorilla-like creature that possesses a head much like a human with long hair or fur covering its body. It is also referred to as the Mexican Bigfoot. That's okay. Though it is known in neighboring countries, Guatemala and Nicaragua. Description. The Sisimite is a humanoid creature with black fur, dark brown fur, described as much larger than the average person. Typically is said to have 4 fingers. 4? Technically we have 4 fingers, but we also have a thumb included, so. On each hand, but no thumbs. There you go. Ape-like facial features. Okay. There you go. I guess we covered that part. In Belize, the Sisimite is, if you are a man, you look at him in the eyes and escape. And escaped. You will die within a month. If you are a woman and you look at him in the eyes, your life will be prolonged. That's kind of fucked. Okay. I guess. All right. Outsmarting. Oh, there's a strategy here. We got to know. If one dances in a circle, the Sisimite will attempt to follow them. However, due to a backward-facing feet, they will trip and fall. Remember this, students. Having a dog by one side is said to discourage the Sisimite from coming close. The Sisimite is said to be afraid of water, likely large bodies like rivers and lakes. It just sounds like a drunk person. In other instances, making a path of footprints leading into a bush will cause the Sisimite to lose track of the prey and will begin to follow its own tracks, thinking it's someone else's. This is a dumbass animal. The ultimate way to get rid of a Sisimite is set fire to its long hair. Yeah, I think that would work with all animals. I think, hey, you know what's the greatest repellent? You know what's the greatest repellent for, like, anything? Set it on fire. How about that? Just set it on fire. That's awesome. But that is cool. I was wondering because, like, what was it? We got Russia, we got Asia, we got India, and we got Europe. Well, I guess Europe, technically has one. I guess they would just call it a Bigfoot. Then America and Canada got it for Sasquatch. And then, there you go. Central and South America got the Sisimite. That is fucking awesome. All right, let's quickly look at this here. Let's get the music back going. Accident-prone Bigfoot, maybe. Maybe. Okay. Oh, these motherfuckers got a Twitter account. Hold up. And today's tweet. The ATN New Hampshire Class B Plus from 2000 just added to the BFR database pointed to the good area for the solo night walk. With no lights. To see if anything follows. Tanglewood Doctor near Sunrise Lake, west of Middleton, New Hampshire. For reports and interactive map link, see the BFR.net GDP show reports. In 2021, Dyer and Gibson County line, Tennessee, 17 miles northwest of Memphis. Afternoon sighting by motorists of Highway 104 in Thick River Bottom. For details, map link. In 2012, Steuben County, New York, witness observes a Sasquatch near homes on the outskirts of Bath. Of their Bath, who knows? For more details in map, see. Let's see a couple more. Breaking news. A Sasquatch encounter last Saturday in the Ashland, Ohio. For details, map and link in the description. Mansfield. Back to you, students. All right. Alrighty, students. This was a good one today. This was a lot of fun. Woo! Woo! All right. Damn. We learned a lot today. We hit up so many different types of new things about the biggest footus. We hit up the Yowie, the Yeti, the Alamas. There was a urine for a Russian specific one, and I think there was a skunk ape for ones. But we know our enemy. We know that it's all around the world, or different parts, and we know about the Central and South American one, the Sesimito. Students, there's a lot that we need to know about, but don't worry, I think we are prepared. I think we're ready for tomorrow's excursion. There has been reported sightings of the Bigfoot recently. I have from my sources that the Bigfoot has been sighted in a local neighborhood. We are going to go out there, we're going to find them, and we're going to figure out where the hell they are. So we're going to be taking another field trip over to the neighborhood. I hope I see you all there tomorrow from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you understand that part. Yeah. But hey, I'm glad you all came here. I'm glad you all had a wonderful time. I had a wonderful time today. I felt great. I'm going to drink some more water. I'm going to start doing that more in my days. But hey, you all have a wonderful day. Okay, you all stay crazy and weird out there. I will see you tomorrow on our final class on Bigfoot. We'll be continuing more next week on mythological creatures, but love you all. Had a great time. My name is Professor Void, and make sure to stay weird and to keep learning. Later, friends. Class dismissed!
His name is Professor Void. Professor Void.